Good evening aspirants, welcome to daily editorial analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 27th January 2025. So these are the two important editorial articles we are going to discuss in this video. The first article is about Israel-Palestine relations, Israel-Palestine tensions and problems around it, and what is the history of Israel-Palestine tensions. In the second article, we are going to discuss about the importance of Indo-Pacific region, what is the role of India in Indo-Pacific region, what are the basics around this Indo-Pacific region, what are the nations which comprise this region, and what are the important pacts and efforts made for cooperation in this Indo-Pacific region. So the first article is taken from Indian Express newspaper editorial. The second is from Hindu newspaper editorial. So these are the two articles we are going to discuss. Now let us get into the discussion. Now look at this article. The article talks about the United Nations commitment to Indo-Pacific region. So in this news article discussion, we are going to discuss what comprise the Indo-Pacific region, what are the major agreements related to Indo-Pacific region, and what is the role of India in Indo-Pacific region cooperation. So these are some of the important topics we are going to discuss in this editorial article discussion. Now let us get into the discussion. Firstly, about the Indo-Pacific region, it is a geostrategic concept. It consists of a vast area comprising Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean and the countries which borders this ocean. The countries of East Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and also the parts of Oceania include this Indo-Pacific region. The nations in Indo-Pacific region are given here. Some of the countries are listed here. You can take a look at it. Countries in East Asia includes Japan, China, South Korea, and Taiwan. Countries in Southeast Asia includes Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Philippines. Countries in South Asia, which includes primarily India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and countries in Oceania like Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific Island nations. Other stakeholders like United Nations and European nations like France and United Kingdom also engage in Indo-Pacific cooperation for the strategic interest. So this is basics about the Indo-Pacific region. What are the countries and regions in Indo-Pacific Ocean? Now, what is the importance of this Indo-Pacific region? Firstly, about the economic significance. This Indo-Pacific region hosts some of the world's largest economies like China, India, and Japan. It contains a global trade route like South China Sea and Strait of Malacca, through which a significant portion of the world trade flows through. It is also rich in natural resources, including fisheries and energy reserves and minerals. Then about the strategic importance of Indo-Pacific region. This region is a center of growing power competition, especially between United States and China. It is home to major military flashpoints, which includes South China Sea, Taiwan Strait, and India-China border. The Quad Alliance, which comprises US, India, Japan, and Australia, focus on countering the security challenges and promoting a free and open trade in Indo-Pacific. So this is about the strategic importance regarding the Indo-Pacific region. Next, about the maritime security. This region ensures freedom of navigation, which addresses piracy, illegal fishing, and environmental threats. So these are also the major priorities which have to be ensured to maintain the maritime security in this region. Then about the technological and political dynamics. The region is a hub for technological innovation and infrastructure development. The nations in Indo-Pacific region are often caught between aligning with either US or China in the context of strategic alliance. So this is about the Indo-Pacific region, the importance of Indo-Pacific region. Now let us see some major agreements or frameworks regarding the Indo-Pacific region. The first one is Free and Open Indo-Pacific. It is proposed by Japan and later adopted by United States. The core principles of this Free and Open Indo-Pacific is promotion of free, open, and rule-based order. It has commitment to freedom of navigation and overflight in international waters. It ensures sovereignty and territorial integrity of nations in the region. Next is Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. It is launched in 2022 by United States. It has 14 countries as participants, including India, Japan, Australia, and many other South Asian nations. So it focuses on trade, supply chain reliance, clean energy and decarbonization, taxation, and anti-corruption measures. The next important framework regarding the Indo-Pacific is Quad, which is also called Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. The members of the Quad include India, Japan, Australia, United States. Its purpose is strategic grouping, which is aimed at countering the China's influence in Indo-Pacific region. Since China is growing at a faster rate and a larger power in Indo-Pacific region, and it is threatening the sovereignty of many other nations in Indo-Pacific region, so these four countries have aligned themselves as the Quad for the cooperation in the Pacific region to counter the China's influence in this region. The maritime security, freedom of navigation, infrastructure development, vaccine production, cyber security are some of the key areas in which these Quad countries focus. The next one is ASEAN Outlook on Indo-Pacific. This is initiated by Association of Southeast Asian Nations, that is ASEAN. It is an inclusive regional cooperation in maritime connectivity and sustainable development. It is aligned with international laws like UNCLOS. Now let us see India's role in Indo-Pacific cooperation. Firstly, about Quad, this we have already talked about. The members of India, US, Japan and Australia comprise the Quad, that is Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. It focuses on maritime security, supply chain reliance, critical technology and also on humanitarian aids like vaccine distribution. It advocates for peaceful initiatives while countering the aggressive regional postures like the influence of China. Next is ASEAN and Indo-Pacific. India's cooperation in Indo-Pacific aligns with the ASEAN's outlook on Indo-Pacific for inclusivity and cooperation. India is also involved in key projects like India-Myanmar-Thailand Highway, Mekong-Ganga cooperation, which are all part of India's cooperation with the Indo-Pacific countries. Next is Indian Ocean region, that is IOR. It secures critical sea lanes for global trade. It operates the Information Fusion Center, that is IFC, to monitor the threats like piracy and illegal fishing. So India is involved in this Information Fusion Center to monitor the piracy and illegal fishing in Indian Ocean region. Next, about the bilateral partnerships, India and Japan have partnership regarding infrastructure and connectivity collaboration. India and Australia has partnership regarding maritime security and renewable energy. India is also partnered with the US for defense ties and Indo-Pacific economic framework. So these are some of the India's role in Indo-Pacific cooperation. Now let us see some major challenges in Indo-Pacific. First one is geopolitical tension. China's rise, particularly in the South China Sea, raise concerns over the territorial disputes. It also raises concern of the freedom of navigation and it has military buildups in this region. So territorial disputes between China and the neighboring countries remain unresolved, and there is a dispute around the 9-dash line which threatens sovereignty of many Southeast Asian nations like Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and there is still unresolved enmity between these countries with China. Next is security concerns. The region is witnessing the military rivalries, nuclear proliferation and challenges from terrorism and extremism. For example, in North Korea, there is a suspicion of nuclear proliferation and dictatorship and extremism. Then about the economic disparities and competition. The region has both rapidly growing economies and a significant poverty. The trade disruptions like US-China trade war have global impacts and also impacts on this Indo-Pacific region. Next, about the climate change. The vulnerable nations facing the sea level rising and the nations in the Oceania which are facing the rise in sea levels and extreme weather, environmental degradation. So it is threatening their existence and infrastructure. Next, about the human rights and governance. Countries like China and Myanmar face criticism for human rights violation, and there is also ongoing humanitarian crisis in some regions in Southeast Asia. So these are some of the major challenges in cooperation in Indo-Pacific region. With this, we conclude the discussion, and this is a main question regarding this topic. The Indo-Pacific plays a critical role in determining the global order. In this context, discuss the importance and challenges of Indo-Pacific. For this question, we can give a general introduction about what is Indo-Pacific region, what are the countries that comprise the Indo-Pacific region. Then the answer of this question can be divided into two parts. In the first part, we can give about the importance of Indo-Pacific region, the economic importance, the strategic importance and maritime cooperation. So the importances that we have seen in this discussion. In the second part of the answer, we can give about the topics like climate change, geopolitical tension, economic disparities and human rights. So the answer of this question can be divided into two parts, and we can write about these topics, and at the end of the answer we can give a way forward should address the concern, and we can also give it optimistically. So in this way we can write a main answer for this question. Interested aspirants can use this question, write the answer and post it in the comment section. For this we conclude the discussion and move to the next topic. Now look at this article which is titled as The Regional Play Global Game. It focuses on the Israel-Hamas ceasefire and its importance on regional and global geopolitics. So this article discusses the fragile peace agreement, challenges in achieving the lasting peace between Israel and Palestine, and also the border power dynamics in West Asia, which involves Iran, Saudi Arabia and other regional players. So this is what discussed in this news article. Let us briefly analyze this news article. Now look at this map. Firstly, we have to understand the location, the demographics of this region. Look at the location of Israel. Israel is located, which is bordering the Mediterranean Sea to the west, Lebanon to the north, Syria to the northeast, and Jordan to the east, and Egypt to the southwest. So this is the location of Israel, and note the bordering countries, and note the location of the Gaza Strip. Gaza Strip is a narrow coastal area which is located on the eastern shore of Mediterranean Sea. It is also bordered by Israel to the north and Israel to the east and Egypt to the southwest. So this is the Gaza Strip where the ongoing problem between the Israel and Palestine is happening. Over 2 million people live in Gaza, and most of them are Palestinians who are displaced due to the conflict between Israel. Now let us discuss about the historical context of Israel-Palestine conflict. This Israel-Palestine conflict started way back 2000 years ago, but the modern problem started late 1800s. The Zionist movement, which began in the late 1800s, aimed to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine, so which was then a part of Ottoman Turkish Empire. In 1917, Balfour Declaration by Britain supports the establishment of Jewish homeland in Palestine. In 1920 to 1940s, there was increased Jewish migration to the Palestine, which leads to growing tensions between Jewish and Arab population. In 1947, the UN proposes partitioning Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. The Jewish leaders accepted the proposal, but the Arab leaders rejected this proposal. Even though the Arab leaders rejected the proposal got declared by the United Nations, and in 1948 the state of Israel is declared. This triggers the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, which leads to Israel's victory and displacement of Palestinians. In 1967 there was another war called the Six-Day War, and in this war the Israel captures the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Sinai Peninsula and Golan Heights. In 1973 the Yom Kippur War sees Egypt and Syria launching attack on Israel, which is ultimately repelled by Israel, and Israel won the war. In 1978, Camp David Accords broke peace between Egypt and Israel. This leads to Israel's withdrawal from Sinai Peninsula. In 1987-1993, the first Intifada begins in Gaza and West Bank. So this marked the Palestinian uprising against the Israel occupation. So during this time, the Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat headed the Palestinian people and also involved in the peace progress between Israeli government and Palestine. In 1993 to 1995, there were Oslo Accords, which are signed between Yasser Arafat and Israeli Prime Minister, and it is groundwork for a two-state solution, creating a Palestinian authority. So these Oslo Accords and Camp David Accords are very important, which are peace pacts between Israeli leaders and Palestinian leaders brokered by United States. In 2020, there were Abraham Accords, which normalized the relation between Israel and several Arab countries. And this Abraham Accords involved UAE, Bahrain, Morocco and Sudan. So with this Abraham Accords, Israel made a peace pact between these Arab countries, that is UAE, Bahrain, Morocco and Sudan. In 2021, the tension escalated because Israeli evictions in East Jerusalem triggered the Palestinian rebels, which sparked a conflict between Israel and Hamas. In October 2023, Hamas launched a major rocket launching attack on Israel, which prompted Israel retaliatory strike on Gaza. So this is the current reason for the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine. Looking at the peace proposal and efforts in this 21st century, Arab Peace Initiative in 2002, it is proposed by Saudi Arabia and it offers Israel a normal relation with Arab states in exchange for Palestinian state. And also Israel has to withdraw from the occupied territories of Palestine. So this is the Arab Peace Initiative, but it was not fully materialized due to the aversion between the Israel and other Arab nations. Then there was Abraham Accords, as I told earlier. It was in 2020 and it was signed between Israel, UAE, Bahrain, and other nations. So with this Abraham Accords, Israel has normalized relations with many Arab nations. Then Middle East Peace Plan, which is also in 2020. This is headed by US proposal for Israel-Palestine peace. So this also didn't materialize due to differing opinions. So these are some of the peace proposals and efforts which are made to normalize the Palestinian and Israeli tensions. But the recent attack by Hamas and retaliation by Israel in the last 2 years have escalated this tension and created a bigger conflict between the two parties. So this is a UPSC mains question regarding this topic. Discuss the significance of Israel-Hamas ceasefire agreement in the context of West Asian geopolitics. How do regional powers like Iran, Saudi Arabia and other players influence the proposals for lasting peace in the region? So with the points we have discussed in this discussion, we can use these points for the mains answer writing for this question. So firstly, we have to describe what is the significance of Israel-Hamas ceasefire agreement. Because recently there was a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, which we have seen in the news. And what is the significance of this? How it will lead to the peace progress of the two-state solution, and how the regional powers like Iran, Saudi Arabia and other Arab nations can influence a proposal for lasting peace, because Israel has made peace pact with many other nations in earlier times. So how do these regional players can also influence this peace progress? Because Iran has made a declaration to eliminate Israel or to attack the Israel. So Saudi Arabia is also trying to normalize the relation with Israel, and Saudi Arabia and Iran are having conflict and they are like two opposing poles in the Arab region. So how these regional players can influence this ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas? So in this context, we have to write the holistic answer. Interested aspirants can try to write the answer and post it in the comment section. With this, we have come to the end of the discussion. If you like the video, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.